Alright, this one's probably going to be a two-parter because it's a doozy. Alright, I just want to start off by saying I respect police completely. Like, I have absolute respect for firemen, firefighters, that's the same thing, police officers, like public servants, okay? Top respect. However, I don't appreciate not getting the same respect back from them, which is what happened in this particular story. I got pulled over for the first time in my life ever. It was scary. Very scary. I got pulled over. So I'm driving my brother to go pick up his new motorcycle. And I drove home and jumped in my mom's car to drive him there because I didn't want to waste my gas. I'm broke. Well, what I didn't do was grab my purse with my license in it to go in the other car. So I'm driving, and there's this small stretch of road around home where you drive and it's a 55 and you turn right and it's a 40. And I always forget that the speed limit switches. So I'm going too fast, but then I realize that I'm going too fast because this car is in front of me, and I'm like, oh, hey, they're going slower than I am. It's because I'm going too fast. So I start slowing down. So here's this car. Here's me. I'm I get kind of close to him because I was going too fast. There's a cop right there. So I was like, well, shoot. So I didn't want to slam on my brakes in front of this cop because that just looks suspicious. Let me just wave a sign out my window that says, don't worry, I'm speeding. No. So I didn't slam on my brakes. So then this car in front of me keeps going straight, and I turn left, and I'm going down this road for about 2 whole minutes. And then I see the flashing lights behind me. And I'm like, well, that's weird. I wonder who he's getting. So I pull over, and then he stops behind me, and I'm like, oh, he's getting me. Oh, okay. I was like, then I looked at my brother, and I was like, I don't have my license. So scary. So what do you do when you normally stop your car and put it in park? You go to get out, right? So this is what I'm just out of habit. I pull the car over to the side of the road, I put it in park, and I unbuckle. The cop's pulling me over, and I unbuckle. So I'm like, great. Why did I just do that? I was like, click, and then I was like, what? Why would I unbuckle? Great, now he's thinking that I'm not also wearing a seatbelt. So I go to buckle back up, which looks even worse than just being unbuckled. I have no brains, apparently. So I'm buckling back up, but he's already outside my window, and it didn't click, so I just let it go, and it's just and I was like, and I hit the window button, and it's just and I was like, hey, and he's like, do you have your license? And I was like, about that, no, I don't. I left it at home. So I explained to him how I left it at home in the other car and how I don't normally drive this car, and then I give him the registration, and he's like, well, what was the deal with you in the car back there? And I was like, what car? It was so long ago. And he's like, that little red, you were kind of close to him. It seemed like you were tailgating him, you were trying to mess around. Do you know them? And I'm like, no. I was being really nice because that's what you do. You be nice to them. It's their job if you're breaking the law. I was going too fast. And I was like, no, sir, I don't know them. I had no intentions of tailgating them. And he told me how fast I was going. And I was like, yes, I wasn't paying attention to my speed. And that's why I ended up too close to that car. I'm very sorry. I didn't mean anything by it. Just, I wasn't I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. Okay. So then he goes back to his car and he sits in his car for 20 minutes. And I'm having a heart attack the whole time. And then he gets out. He doesn't even walk back up to my window. He just goes, I almost died right then. I think my soul left my body because I was like, this is it. this is how it ends. I'm getting out. He's going to arrest me. I'm going to jail. David, you're going to have to come bail me out. Like, my brother's not freaking out at all, but I am, like, sweating bad. So I get out, and, like, I went to shut the door, but my hand slipped, so the door's still open, so I just kind of left it because it was awkward, and he goes, shut the door. And I was like, yep. So I, like, turned around and then shut the door. And then he asked me how tall I was, and I was like 5'8", and he's like, well, how much do you weigh? And I was like, well, my license says I weigh 120, but I don't. I gained a lot of weight in college. I was like, the freshman 15 done hit me hard. I didn't say any of that. I just told him the weight that I knew was on my license. I was like, 120 pounds. I wish. So then he goes, all right, go ahead and stand over there by my car. And I was like, man, not today. Go arrest me today. But no, please, officer. I really thought he was going to break out the handcuffs. So I go and I stand on the outside of his car by the passenger seat. He goes and gets in his car in the driver's seat and just rolls down the window, and I'm, like, standing in, like, a bush on the outside of his car, and he's just like, and I was like, he goes, normally your speed wouldn't have gotten you to be, like, I wouldn't have pulled you over for your speed. I was going 3 over when he clocked me. He goes, so normally your speed wouldn't have gotten you pulled over. However, I thought you were riding that car really close, and, I was just trying to see what was going on there. It seemed like a little bit of, like, tomfoolery was going on or something. He did not say that word, but it seems like he should have. He was being mean to me. He was just doing his job, and I respect that, but he asked me 3 times where I was going. I told him 3 times, and he goes, why don't you just have your brother drive if you don't have your license? And I was like, because I really didn't think that I didn't have my license until right now when I realized I needed it, and I did not have it. And then he asked me 3 times if there was any drugs or alcohol in the car, and I said, no, every time. I was like, no, sir. And he goes, is there anything in the car I need to know about? No, sir. Drugs or alcohol? No, sir. Gets me in, pulls me outside of the car. Are there any drugs and alcohol in the car? No. Like I done said before. No. Makes me stand outside of the car, rolls down his window. Are there any drugs or alcohol in the car? Do you want to go look? You can look if you want to, because there's not. Maybe he had short-term memory loss or something, but... So he prints me off. He goes, not having your license is automatically a ticket. And I was like, you're right. Like, it is. I was super hoping you would just not give it to me, though. Considering as this was the first time in my life I've ever gotten in trouble. Not really, but it was the first time I've ever been pulled over. Like, never done anything else. No priors. I didn't have a record. Gives me the ticket. He doesn't even get out of the car to give me the ticket. He sits in his car. He just reaches through the door, like the window, and he's like, here you go. Have you ever gotten a ticket before? And I was like, no, you can see that. You have that information. You know that I haven't. So I was like, no, this is my first. And he goes, all right, well, you have to go to the courthouse and just show them that you have a license and then pay a service fee. And I was like, all right, like, I can do that. At least I didn't get a $150 speeding ticket for the 3 miles an hour I was going over the speed limit. So I get back in my car, and I was super worked up about thinking that I was going to get arrested, so I start sobbing. I'm like, I just really thought he was going to arrest me and take me to jail. And my brother's just laughing at me the whole time, so I'm like... So I go and I drop David off to get his motorcycle, and I'm, like, paranoid on the way home that I'm going to get pulled over again by the same cops somehow, which wouldn't happen, but I don't know, you don't know. So I go all the way home, and I get my license, and I drive to the courthouse, and I walk right in, and I'm like, yeah, I got this ticket, and she's like, well, where did you get it? And I was like, just now. She's like, well, we don't have that in yet. And I was like, all right, you know what, I probably should have thought of that, like, good call. And then she sees my ticket, and she's like, oh, you're going to have to go to court for this. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, we'll send you a court date. So your girl has a court date. I am a wanted felon right now, basically. They might as well have given me an ankle bracelet to not leave the premises. Because that's basically what I got out of the situation. Like, I've been looking for cute jumpsuits on Amazon for prison. Like, I'm already designing my prison tats because I'm pretty sure that's what's happening right now. I mean, not really, but it stressed me out. So I have to go to court, which is why this is probably a part 2, because they have not sent me my court date yet. And I have to go to court and whip out my license and be like, whoop, there it is. And like, yes, I have it. And then the judge will be like, all right, cool, good job. But it's a misdemeanor. So until then, like, the judge could say, nope, I'm sorry. Like, I don't like you. And then just like, give me a criminal record for forgetting my license one time. So that's what done happened the other day. It was terrifying. It stressed me out real bad, and I just really don't know why I decided to unbuckle when the cop pulled me over. And I have a ticket and a court date and $60 that I'm out now, so I have to pay that. So I'm just waiting to go to the judge and basically cry and be like, please have mercy on me. This is exactly how it's going to go down. But mostly I'm just mad because some people get pulled over like 7 times and they still don't get a ticket. And the one time I get pulled over, I wasn't even doing anything wrong. He literally said my speed wasn't worth being pulled over. He just thought I was tailgating someone to the point of like messing with them. Wasn't doing anything wrong. Except that I done forgot my license, of course. And he just could have been like, hey, remember your license next time. But nope. He slapped me with the ticket. So I'm bummed a little bit. But, I mean, it made for a good police story. So, I guess, in retrospect, it wasn't too bad. And, I mean, it was bound to happen sometime. Everybody's going to get pulled over at least once in their life, I think. But now I'm paranoid. Every time I'm driving, like, on the highway, I am going 70 exactly. Like, I am looking both ways. I am always using that turn signal. Not that I don't do these things normally, but, like, I'm doing them extrally now. Like, hands are always at 10 and 2. You bet your bottom I'm just, like, if I see a cop, I'm probably going to just, like, jump out my skin. Yeah, I think that's about all I got for now until part 2 hits, but I'll keep you guys updated on what done happens with that. But until then, enjoy my stupidity, as always.